Hello guys, Márcio Marinho here. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I thought it would be nice to talk about some books that I really like, and these are technical books. I try to choose this time not language-dependent books, but more a broad and general architectural and design patterns style books. This list is by no means a complete list, so it is not. So I believe I chose 10 books or so. So without further ado, let's get into it. So let me take a look at my list here. I have a few titles here. So the first title is Clean Code from Uncle Bob or Bob C. Martin. This book is amazing. It is an excellent book. In this book, he teaches and he passes on his knowledge about how to maintain the code base and how to write clean code. One of the thoughts is anyone can write code. That's that simple as it is. Anyone can just open an IDE and write some code, but only good programmers or good developers can write code that other human beings can understand and can maintain. So this book is all about that. He teaches how to name variables, how to name classes, how to name methods, how long a method should be, how many lines a method should be composed, how to decompose something which is too big, how to apply a single responsibility principle to a class. So the book is really amazing. So I believe he went above and beyond with that book, and that book helped me a lot to to get into that mindset of writing cleaner code, I would say. So whenever I write code, that code must be as clean as possible, as descriptive as possible, and someone else, once they look at that code, they have to understand the code. If they don't, I did something wrong. I have to refactor and rewrite that code. So that was my first tip, my first book. Now it's time for the second book, which is Refactoring, Improving the Design of Existing Code. This one is the second edition. The one I read a few times was the first edition. I still have to buy this one. I will buy that soon. This book was written by Martin Fowler. He's a well-known author and writer, and I think he still works for ThoughtWorks. Yeah, he's really smart, and in this book he shows lots of recipes on how to refactor the code, how to decompose the code, how to make code more readable. I think these two books, they're really close to each other. They don't exactly go through the same path, but they're really close from each other. So they both clean code and refactoring, they both work towards making a more maintainable, flexible code base. And I think refactoring, he goes on another direction. So teaching on how to get something that is existing or even something new and refactor that code to make it more resilient and extensible. So yeah, that's my second pick. Third pick is Test-Driven Development by Example, and this one was written by Kent Beck. If you don't know Kent Beck, he was the creator or one of the creators of test-driven development, so he knows what he's talking about. In this book, he explains how are the mechanics, how to test your code, your classes, how to test many classes, and he goes through step by step, showing how to start from a feature and how to make the code first fail, then starting from that point, writing the first production codes, then fix the test, and keep going through that cycle. And yeah, you really have to read the book. So he explains in deep details all the mechanics and why of his thought process. So this was the third book. Now let's go for the fourth book. This book is called Growing Object-Oriented Software Guided by Tests. This book is amazing. Well, all of these books, they're amazing, but this one is, I don't know. I just think this one has some special place inside my heart. I really like this book. So this book is somewhat on the same path from the test-driven development, but this book it goes a little bit above and beyond that point. Steve Freeman and Nat Price, which are the authors, they teach how to start a whole feature or a whole system from inception, which is the idea. Okay, I have this idea of creating, I don't know, let's say an e-commerce website. So and then they teach how to start from the idea, the specification, how to start covering your code from tests, and then evolving those tests into production code, and then applying the test-driven development on top of that. So that's a very interesting book. So it goes deeper than the test-driven development, because these guys, they really go crazy. They show lots of examples how to test, how to decompose. They show an working system, actually. So I strongly recommend you guys going through this book as well. Okay, next book is Applying UML and Patterns from Craig Larman. This is a 2004 book, and this book helped me a lot when I was working. I was working as both developer and a kind of BA at the time. So I was responsible for getting the requirements from the users and writing technical specifications. Doing that work to translate the business world to the developer's world, because someone needed to get those specs and be able to produce a working software that fulfill those requirements. So this book helped me a lot to have the mindset of thinking about the requirements and mapping those requirements into classes, methods, features, and a lot of other things that is helpful when someone gets the specification to develop a new software. So I really recommend this book as well. In spite of the fact that it's a 2004 book, it's still, in my opinion, a great title. So if you have the time and the opportunity, go for it. Next book. This is also an awesome book. So working effectively with legacy code. That was written by Michael Feathers. This book teaches us how to work with legacy code. Of course, that's the book's title. What that means is, once we write some code, yes, we should go through that process of refactoring, writing clean code, and so on. But sometimes things pass past us, we don't see. And also, every single line of code that we commit and push, that becomes a legacy code. This book teaches how to handle legacy code, how to work with that kind of code base, how the strategies we can apply to successfully maintain and improve that piece of software as well. Time for the next book. This book is more a language oriented, so that's based on Java. This is Effective Java, written by Joshua Block. If you are a Java developer, this is a must-read book. This book is simply amazing. If you don't know Joshua Block, well, you should know. If you don't know him, he's one of the creators, or he was the one who wrote almost all the base Java APIs. So he teaches us many things that sometimes we think the behavior should be A, but the behavior is actually Z. And then he goes through why that functionality was engineered that way, and what was the thought process why things work the way they are in Java at this point in time. So it's a great read. It's gonna also enrich your tool set as a Java developer. Next book is a design patterns book. It's gonna be buy one and take two, kind of. So that's the design patterns. Head first design patterns by Eric Freeman and Bert Bates. This book is really nice because they teach how to apply design patterns on a friendly way. The original book, that's the second book, Design Patterns, Elements of Reusable Object-Oriented Software by Eric Gama and Rich Helm. This second book is a really dense book, so it's things are not that easy to understand. So yeah, and it also has a mix of Smalltalk and C++. So I think Freeman and Bates they do an amazing job on explaining the design path. They had first design patterns first. Take a read, try to apply those concepts. Once you have those concepts inside of your mind, fresh, then go for the design patterns, Elements of Reusable Object-Oriented Software by Eric Gama and Richard Helm. Okay, it's time for a new book, and again, that's going to be another patterns book. This time, that's going to be the Patterns of Enterprise Application Architecture by Martin Fowler. Fowler here again. In this book, he does an amazing job on showing and explaining how to apply patterns to enterprise systems. This time, it's not about how a single system, object, methods, how those components interact, but actually how different systems can cope together to produce a single outcome. Whenever I have enterprise applications that they need to communicate to each other, how can we make sure, and how are the good strategies, how are the recipes we can apply to have a good software landscape. The last book on this list is another language-specific book. This one is Java Concurrency in Practice by Brian Goetz. This guy is, again, he was one of those guys who wrote all the concurrence libraries in Java, also all the libraries in Java. He knows what he's talking about. The guy has a lot of experience. He's really smart, and concurrency is hard by itself. So he explains in depth how things work. There are lots of examples in this book. So if you want to get started in concurrency in Java, or if you want to improve your knowledge, this is the book to go. Okay, guys, I think that's going to be it for this video. These are my 10-ish, actually 11, but as I said, I gave you 2 books by one. That's going to be 10 books on my list. So these books I really like. I really love these books, and I think every software engineer should know and read them, and if possible more than once, just to refresh our knowledge. And again, guys, if you like this content, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel as well, because I'm now posting videos daily, on a daily basis. So, and also click on that notification bell so we will not miss anything. Okay, so I'll see you guys next time.